Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Cassandra. This is my cat Cleo, and I'm going to take you through this yoga practice that is really designed to open up your heart. So physically, we're definitely going to be working on improving flexibility in our shoulders, getting into our chest as well as our upper back. But for those of you who maybe want to see the different ways that your yoga practice can work on more than your physical body, I really invite you to think of this as a heart opening practice. And maybe this is a little silly to some of you, but I know that for me, when I am going through a hard time and I feel a little bit more closed off, or if I'm experiencing any kind of grief in my life or any kind of heartache, small or big, I really notice a lot of stiffness and tension in my upper body. So while opening up and really working on the physical body is a great way to kind of break up that stiffness and tension, I also really like to ask myself some questions like, what are the ways in which I am closing my heart off to the world? So I'm just going to invite you to think of that a little bit as we flow together. We are going to be using 2 blocks for this practice, so make sure you have them close by and probably best suited for intermediate students. So to begin, let's start in Balasana, Child's Pose. Big toes together, knees as far away as you would like, and we'll do a reverse prayer with the palms to begin gentle opening into the upper body. So as I'm lifting and reaching out of my lower back, I'm trying to encourage my heart to press down into the earth, and then just tucking my chin in slightly so the weight is resting on my forehead. And then I'm going to press my palms together and bend the elbows, bringing my thumbs to rest at the back of my neck. So with each breath here, as you inhale in through your nose and back out through your nose, especially on the exhale, notice if you can soften the heart space a little bit closer towards the earth. And maybe you're just interested in gaining a little bit of upper body flexibility, which is totally fine. But if you are looking for something deeper, maybe begin to inquire what is needed for your heart right now. In what ways might you be denying your heart's longings, your heart's desires? Have you been closing your heart off to the world? Having a hard time feeling love or compassion, or moving through grief? And we're not here to judge, we're simply here to observe and listen. So go ahead and straighten your arms and see if you can just kind of lift your head up, really pressing your chest down. And we're going to move into our Sphinx pose. So you can slide onto your belly and bringing your knees about hip width distance apart. And I want you to really push your palms into the floor, lift your chest, roll your shoulders back. And I'm pushing into my pubic bone a little bit here, lengthening tailbone towards the heels and finding an opening. So when you breathe, feel your rib cage expand front to back and side to side. Normally, I encourage you to breathe into your lower belly, but for the sake of this practice, we're going to concentrate it a little bit higher up. And you can relax your chest back down. Let's find our melting heart pose, puppy pose, Anahata Asana. So keeping your hips over the top of your knees, you're going to walk your palms out in front of you and melt your chest and your forehead down towards the floor. So it's very tempting here to just let your belly completely drop down But I want you to really imagine that it's your shoulders that are pressing down and your chest and heart space that's melting in towards the mat. And I'm keeping my arms active here. So my arms are straight and I'm pushing my palms into the floor slightly. What tension can you melt away with your breath? Take one more big breath in here. And you can relax your arms just so you can walk your hands back to help yourself come back up through to your tabletop pose. And from this tabletop pose, keep your belly nice and strong and engaged. Bring your right hand to rest at the back of your head. And we're going to inhale to lift that elbow up as high as it can go. Might not go up very high at all. And then exhale, coming back to face the floor. So very subtle little movements. Inhale, open up. And exhale, come back down. Last one. Inhale to lift. And exhale to release. Right hand down. Let's switch sides. Left hand to the back of your head. Inhale, left elbow up. Exhale, bring it back parallel. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. Inhale. And release. Left hand down. Walk your palms a couple inches past your shoulders so that you can tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Now really wrap through your shoulders. See if you can even bend your elbows a little bit here. So a different variation of our downward dog. You're definitely going to feel your arms and your shoulders burn a little as you do this. Feeling that heart fire. And straighten your arms. We're going to reach that right leg up towards the sky. Step your right foot through in between your palms to the top of the mat. Back foot comes down to the floor. Anjaneyasana, your low lunge. So arms reaching up towards the sky. Let's bend our elbows, cactus shape with your arms, and think of squeezing your shoulder blades back behind you as you peel and lift up through your chest. Go ahead and straighten your arms, reach them all the way back and see if you can clasp your palms, squeezing your shoulder blades together. A little bit of a balancing act here. Go ahead and tuck the back toes under, lift your back knee off the mat so you're now in a high lunge, and let's dive forward and down. So you're either going to rest your chest over your leg or you're going to dive to the inside of that leg, reaching your knuckles up and over. Relax your neck, relax your head. One more big breath. Release your fingertips down to the mat. Step back. So left knee comes down and you're going to kick your right heel all the way up towards the sky, coming into your tiger pose. So my belly is dropping down. I'm kicking that heel up, lifting my chest up, and then my left hand is going to grab a hold of my right ankle as I squeeze and lift. And really focus on that stretch you're getting through your left shoulder. No resistance. Just let that part of your body open up. Let's release cat pose. Round and contract. And now we're going to find our puppy stretch again, but this time grab a hold of your blocks. And we're going to do a prayer puppy pose, keeping your hips over your knees. You're going to bring your elbows down, melting your heart and your forehead to the mat, bending your elbows, bringing your thumbs towards the back of your neck. Slow, steady breaths. Really getting curious about where resistance comes from for you. Let's straighten our arms. We're going to come all the way back up. And now keep your hands on your blocks, widen them so they're shoulder width distance apart. We're going to do downward dog with our blocks. lifting hips all the way up and back. So feeling that nice lift. Let's come forward into plank pose, still on your blocks. Exhale, chaturanga. Upward dog. The blocks give you a lot more space here to roll the shoulders back, open through your chest. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. And you can walk your feet forward to the top of the mat. We'll take ragdoll fold and just move your blocks off your mat again. And you can hold on maybe to your elbows or your upper arms, or you can just let them dangle if that's better. Just really decompress along your spine, getting a little bit of traction. Release your hands down, step back to downward dog without your blocks, and we'll repeat the sequence on the second side. So left leg rises, and step your left foot to the top of the mat on Vinyasa, coming into your low lunge. So my right knee is on the floor. I'm pushing to lift on up, and I'll find a cactus shape with my arms, adding a little heart opener here as I press and lift up through the rib cage. At the same time, I'm squeezing my shoulder blades behind me, keeping my elbows up at the same height as my shoulders. Straighten your arms, interlace the more unusual way, so your other thumb on top. Lift your knuckles off of your seat. Tuck the back toes under. Lift your right knee off the mat, and we're gonna dive forward and down. So you want to have your shoulders lifted off and away of your ears, concentrating on reaching your knuckles up even higher. One more big deep breath. And release your hands to the mat, right knee to the mat. You're gonna kick that left heel up nice and high, drop your belly, lift your gaze, finding your tiger pose. Grab a hold of the ankle as you kick and lift it up. And release, cat pose, round and contract. And let's find that puppy stretch again. If you'd like, you can take it one level higher. If you think that's too much, just keep the blocks at their lowest level. Same thing, elbows on the blocks, palms together, hips over your knees, and reach it back. So a really big shoulder opener here. Think of pulling your lower belly in slightly. Let's go ahead and straighten the arms. You can lift on up. Bring your blocks flat on their lowest level. We'll find down dog with the help of our blocks. Tucking and lifting. And find a vinyasa. Inhale through plank pose, strong through your core, chaturanga. Open up, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog, pressing through your heels. And we'll walk our feet forward to the top of the mat again here. And you can keep your blocks pretty much where they are. Actually, let's put them on their highest level. Ragdoll for a breath or two, just letting yourself dangle and sway. Release your hands down, bend your knees. We're going to come up to stand, push your heels into the floor for this as you lift all the way up. So we'll come into pyramid pose. You're going to keep your right foot forward, step your left leg back with your left foot at about a 45-degree angle, and focus on keeping both hips and shoulders squared to the front of your mat. Facing forward, let's find our archer arms. You're going to reach right arm up, bend your right elbow so your palms, fingertips are reaching between the shoulder blades. Left hand reaches back, and if you're unable to clasp your hands here, you can just kind of hold on to your clothing. You can also instead just use your left hand to push that right elbow back. So notice how the rib cage kind of wants to flare out when we do this. Try to press it down. You'll need to engage core strength. Keep your elbow lifting and moving away from you, and then maybe initiate a fold. And I like to just kind of hold it halfway until I'm parallel to the floor. This is an intense pose. I really feel that heart fire. And carefully release your hands to the blocks. You're going to bend into your front knee. Bring your blocks out in front of you to lift that left leg up. And now from here, we are going to transition into our half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. So I'm going to lean on my right hand and my right leg. I'm going to bring my left hand to my hip, and I'm going to open up through that left hip. So trying to stack left hip over the right, left shoulder over the right. Maybe the left arm extends up to the sky. And one last variation. This is great for shoulders and upper body. Let's find sugar cane pose. So kind of like a side tiger pose, but standing. Bending into your left knee, grab a hold of your ankle, and then really push and kick that foot out to get a big shoulder stretch, little back bend. And release, fold on down, ragdoll. Let's take a breath in through the nose, big sigh out the mouth. Release your hands, bend your knees, push into your heels to come all the way up to stand. And we'll find pyramid on the second side with our archer arms. So this time, left leg is forward, step your right foot back. Turn that right heel at about a 45-degree angle, and really emphasize pushing that left hip back and pressing that right hip forward, drawing the rib cage in. Left arm up, bend at your left elbow, and reach back with your right hand. And you might notice that one side is harder than the other. I know for me, left shoulder has a lot more stiffness. Press the chest down. And maybe fold. And you don't need to be folding very far. Release your hands to the blocks, bend into that left knee, and we're going to kick that right leg up, transitioning to our half moon pose. So you're rolling right hip to stack over on the left, leaning your body weight onto your left hand and left leg, right hand to your hip. Maybe right arm extends up to the sky. And you can add on with sugar cane pose, bend your right knee, grab a hold of your right foot, and start to kick the foot into your palm to really arch back and stretch open. Keep your breath steady. You got this. Fold and release. Ragdoll. Big sigh. So inhale through your nose and let it out your mouth. And you can just plant your palms, step back, downward dog. And we're going to come onto our bellies, so you can just come through plank pose and lower all the way down. So we'll come into broken wing. This is a laying chest opener. You can just leave your blocks out in front of you here. We're going to bring our right arm, bending the elbow at about a 90-degree angle. My elbow is a couple inches higher than my shoulder, and my palm is flat to the floor. From here, I'm going to roll onto my right shoulder and my right hip, either keeping my head down on the floor. If it's too much, you can just rest your head on your block to make the pose a little bit easier and more comfortable. And I'm lightly pushing my left hand into the ground just until I feel this into my right pectorals, my right shoulder, my right biceps. And we are slowing down our practice. See if you can melt into the floor. So when we release physical tension from our bodies, it becomes a lot easier to access mental and emotional tension. Let's transition to the other side. So straighten your legs. You're going to bring your left arm out, bending that elbow at a 90-degree angle. Roll onto your left hip, left shoulder, left side of your head, maybe with or without a block. I like to bend my knees. And you're lightly pushing your right hand into the floor. Careful not to hike up your shoulders towards your ears when you do this. Keep them pressing down. Nourishing breaths. One more breath. And let's release. So you can just lift yourself up. We'll set it up into our supported fish pose. So using our blocks. I like to use them on their second level. You can do the lowest level if you prefer. First block supports the upper back in between your shoulder blades. And the second one supports the back of your head. And you might want to do a butterfly shape with your legs, or you can have them straight or knees bent, really whatever you find the best here. And if you'd like, for the first few breaths in this pose, see what it's like to have your arms reaching up overhead. And now guaranteed for some of you, this is going to feel really uncomfortable, borderline painful, in which case, please don't do it. You can just have your arms out by your sides or opened up. So we're looking for some sensation, but definitely never pain. And we're not going to be here too long, just 3 more breaths like this. And you can circle your arms down. And we'll take 10 more breaths in this pose. Just relaxing into it a little more. Notice what is coming up for you from this practice. How you feel physically, mentally, emotionally, without judgment, just observation. We'll bend our knees so we have our feet flat to the floor. This will help us come off of the blocks. So you can tuck your chin to your chest, move the first one out, and then just roll maybe to one side to move the other one. We won't need them anymore. And just let your knees drop side to side in this windshield wiper motion. It might feel good also to pull your knees in towards your belly. So whatever you'd like to do here before we finish with Shavasana, our final resting pose. Just a few breaths, move intuitively. Check in to see how you feel. And whenever you feel ready, you can straighten your legs. Palms facing up to the sky. Close your eyes and really let go. Maybe you can hear Cleo's purrs, I don't know. But that's nice, healing heart energy. About one more minute here. You can breathe deeper so that we're waking up, moving through your fingers and your toes, stretching your arms up overhead. Feel how much more freedom there is in the upper body. And we can come up to take a seat. I think Cleo really liked this heart practice. And just come to take a seat, however is most comfortable to you here. Sitting up tall, closing your eyes, making one last connection to your heart space, showing yourself gratitude, compassion, and love. And we can bring our palms together at the front of the heart. We'll close by chanting Om one time. Inhaling to chant, big breath in. Om. Thank you so very much for doing this heart healing upper body flow. Please do leave me a comment below. Let me know how this went for you. Definitely give the video a little thumbs up for Cleo and all her cuteness. I wonder if you guys were able to hear the purrs. I'm excited to edit this video and see if that came through because they were definitely loud in my ear. Okay, please subscribe and hopefully I will practice again with you very soon.